Right, ladies and gentlemen, bout 7 is our 4-woman tournament semi-final 2 over 3 3-minute rounds matched at 60k and sponsored by Profan Products. Would you welcome first into the blue corner, Joe Price. And would you welcome her opponent into the red corner, Laura Rosado. This is our 4-woman tournament semi-final 2, matched at 60k. And in the blue corner, she weighed in at 61k. She has an 8-fight record, 7 wins and only 1 loss. Representing Northern Spirit, Joe Price. And her opponent in the red corner, she weighed in at 60k even. She has a 25-fight record, 18 wins with only 7 losses. She represents KO Team Portugal, Laura Rosado. Your referee, Mr. Nash Kashwala.
Tonight at the York Hall, 4 women will enter the ring. Only 1 will walk away the winner. It's the second of your semifinals, 2 semifinalists, and it is an international. Should be a barn burner here. Laura Rosado representing Portugal. Joe Price representing the UK. Price out of Manchester, Rosado from Evora in Portugal. And an interesting proposition, a lot of hype behind Joe Price, 7-1 overall, but more than 3 times the fight experience for her opponent, Laura Rosado. Both women walked out looking real confident, Malcolm. I love to see this matchup here, and again, see who will move on to fight in the final tonight against Nicola Bark.
That's right, we've already had some incredible semi-finals, and Price, straight out of the blocks, testing Rosado with those heavy punches. See how she just sits there in the pocket. Rosado has not been allowed to come out of her corner here. And again, they've got to be careful with the clinch and strike release. But Price, the uppercut as well, looking to psychologically already back up Rosado, literally and mentally here in this opening round, Chris.
Rosado talked about her technical abilities in K1 style kickboxing. The thing is, though, Price on paper, a big experience differential, but she usually fights Muay Thai. So she said, I'll be confident about bringing that training, bringing that ring time here to York Hall tonight to show off what I have.
Well, there was a nice left-hand counter there from Rosado, and you alluded, Chris, to the experience of the young lady from Portugal, and that could be a factor when Price has set out a stall. She's aggressive. She's trying to psychologically stay there in the pocket, in the middle of the ring, not giving Rosado any room to move. So whatever Rosado does has to be at the moment with her back against those ropes. How good a counter fighter is she? We're going to find out, because Price will not move from that pocket.
It's ironic for me to see that Price described her style, or at least said her coach said her style is a bit awkward and unorthodox, but to me, it's just very efficient. There's no wasted energy so far.
No, you're right. And as I said, the way she set out her stall by forcing Rosado back. Now, theoretically, if we look at different outcomes, you imagine with her style and her height, her facing Nicola Bark.
Yeah, it could be a dream matchup, because both clearly have an understanding about using their reach and commanding distance at a distance that can allow them to initiate favorable trades, because that's how you can really kind of view a striking match of any style, is leading and following and trading and looking to pull counters and throw stuff at the same time. For me right now, Price is just fighting smarter, and she's using her physical assets to do so.
Well, this is the thing. If we look at the theoreticals again, where Price is exactly where Bark would want to be. Rosado at the moment is either happy fighting on the counter, or a bit like the rabbit in headlights at the moment with the whole thing coming over from Portugal, the Your Call, the four-woman tournament. Because I'm telling you now, if this was Price Bark, they would be fighting over who had that center ring and was the one pushing forward.
Nice low kick there. Laura's got good skills, but she's getting backed up and she's getting forced into the corner. And for me, I like the fact that Price is focusing on the boxing. She's not really looking to kick too much. She kicks when it works and when it's obviously a good decision to do so, but she's not forcing that, which is cool to see from someone with a Muay Thai background.
She's fighting well within herself, Chris. As you said, there's good technique coming back from Rosado, but it's nowhere near the amount that is coming through from Price effortlessly with that energy that is so easily conserved. She's really making this look quite easy. And she just nods to her opponent, walks back, and looks to her corner. She's hardly breathing heavily. Now, for me, Rosado, you mentioned she has got good technique, but how often does she throw that?
So let's take a look at some of the action here. And we just saw that beautiful corralling would be the word I would use for Jo Price. She just constantly worked Laura into the corners, controlled the ring, kept her back to open space, and kept her on the end of the punch. It's not a lot of volume. It was short exchanges, short combinations, but she was in, she was out. Look at that. Just knows exactly where she needs to be. And she's not even tucking up. I mean, she's there to be hit, but the problem is she knows exactly where she needs to be, able to find headspace and deny her opponent the same opportunity.
Nothing more for me to say. Chris Hoekstra said it all there, and that sets up that second round perfectly. So the only thing I can add, Chris, Laura Rosado needs a complete tactical change here in the second. We've known over the years some fighters like fighting off the back ropes, counter pushing, using the ropes for that little bit of leverage, and are happy there and score just as much on the counter. Rosado, from what I've seen in the opening round, isn't one of those. She's just being backed up there. She needs to get out in that center of that ring and force Price to fight in the center, and more importantly, force her to fight, because she's in cruise control at the moment.
So second of a scheduled 3. It's been a very gamesmanship performance. It's been a very smart and patient performance from Jo Price. Rosado said, look, I'm a kicker. I love to use those techniques. And it seems to me that Jo has studied that. She's been able to obviously audit that as well in the ring. You never really know what it's going to be like until you step in there in front of your opponent. But she's clearly very well trained and very well prepared for this matchup. And it's paying dividends because it's been a punch-perfect performance.
You're right. And here's the thing as well. The problem for Rosado is she's been sucked into the pace of the fight. She's allowed Jo Price to dictate that pace, and she's coming back at the same pace for Price with less efficiency. She needs to change that rhythm, change up the timing, and really come at Price, because you can get, especially if you as the fighter don't realize that maybe you're losing and you're not really being hurt, you get drawn into that tit for tat at the pace the fighter's setting. What you don't know is the other fighter is actually the one racking up the points. And how many times have we seen a fighter look shell-shocked when the decision's gone against him or her, and we've gone, well, no, that was obvious.
Yeah, I agree. Not a lot to add there. I agree. Interestingly, this is the first time that Rosado has fought outside Portugal. So a lot of experience, 25 fights, 18-7, compared to 8-fight veteran for Jo Price, 7-1. But it was the fact that she came in there and knew what she wanted to do. Clearly, Price did as well. And the difference, Price is able to pull it off, she can't.
Well, she set the pace, she set the timing, and Rosado, for 2 rounds now, has fought with her back against the ropes. And it's another subtle little thing as well. Every shot, Price doesn't have to throw them hard particularly, because when you're here, you're absorbing more impact because there's nowhere to go. In the center of the ring, you've got somewhere to go. But here, Rosado's now having to take the full impact. And she stumbles a little bit there because Price is just putting the pressure on and keeping her in position. But do you see what I mean about the comebacks from Rosado? They're at the same pace, the same timing.
Laura was doing pretty good with those kicks, but Price is well prepared, and she's checking, I would say, about 50% of them. So it's smart. But the thing is, for me, Rosado's got to set those kicks up. She can't just throw single kicks against a woman who's clearly got good boxing.
And they're not affecting Price either. As soon as she throws, she just throws 2-3 punches over the top. She knows where the head of Rosado is. She knows where the body's going to be because she's backed up against the ropes like she is now the whole time here. Then you've got the timing to just jump in with the knee. She looks over at Nash, the referee, and says, yeah, I know. It was 1 strike, then I release. For me, Rosado needs to test her in the center of the ring, because even if she's happy with this pace and rhythm and not really being hurt, she must know she's lost the opening 2 rounds.
10-second clapper. Rosado looking to load up on that kick. Price backs off. Raises that right leg, steps in for a short right, doesn't land it. That's the end.
2 big rounds for me for the blue corner. And we talked about the tournament situation. She's fighting well within herself.
And for me, it's been 2 smart rounds. It was a more even round, and I think that Price, as you alluded to, was happy to kind of sit in cruise control. Happy to kind of cruise along in 5th gear, land good shots, and not take any meaningful damage herself. But the thing is, for Rosado, she clearly has the tools to land on Price. She just got to commit to those kicks more and set them up with more intelligence, because getting backed off into the ropes like this, admittedly, which she did a better job of avoiding in the second, it's not going to be enough to win a 3-round decision. I
agree totally, Chris. I said I'd like to see this fought more in the center of the ring, with Rosado saying to Price, I'm not going to allow you to back me up. She hasn't done that yet. If we talk about authority as well for the judging, when we look at all things ring craft, control, authority, it's with Joe Price there in the blue corner.
So it's the final round here in the Super Fight Series 4-woman tournament. The second of our semifinals tonight. Representing the UK, Joe Price. Representing Portugal, Laura Rosado. Rosado, a lot of experience, but for me, Price fighting the smart fight right now. Malcolm Martin, we've got her unofficially up 2 rounds to the good.
That is, as Chris said, an unofficial scorecard. But now I'd like to see Rosado really step up the pace. As you said, 25 fights. She's very experienced. 18 wins. That's a good ratio. Come and ask questions of Price now. Get away from those ropes. Try and push Price back. Make her think. This is the thing as well, Chris. Price hasn't had to think about anything she's done. It's just flown. There's very little coming back. Very little she has to worry about. Rosado's thrown some nice kicks, but she knows them, and she just pushes forward. And all the time, Rosado's backing up. When have you seen her push forward suddenly, throw a combination at a different speed, and say to Price, you can't do that?
I'm seeing more kicks from Price right now. This is interesting. She talked about that Muay Thai background, and maybe we're going to see her come out of her shell a little bit. But she can't keep her hands down like that and load up for power on those kicks, because Rosado could still take it. You know, Rosado's been there. She's obviously been in a lot of fights. She's got ring time to her credit.
I think what's key here, Chris, is you said this is her first time out of Portugal. And I think it's showing here. I think there, as you said, always, now that I wanted this earlier. I wanted to ask questions of Price earlier. And again, as I said, her first time out of Portugal, maybe just beginning to believe herself, just warming up, just getting used. We don't know what sort of travel was like for her, but I think she'll look on missed opportunities here, because Joe Price, for me, has controlled this despite that back fist. And that's the last 10 seconds.
Actually, that was an inside low kick, I think. Spinning back fist again. Her corner was calling for it. Rosado was able to land it once, but the thing is, I think Price is too slick to get hit with something like this.
But now you see Rosado coming forward in the third. If she'd done that from the first, that would have been a far more even back for me. And there, Price pushing her. It's virtually bullying her, as she has throughout the whole rounds here.
Unfortunately, there will be no Ogoshi throws in this one. Thought about stepping in for a throw there, but it was a good time. It was smart. You know, if you're in range like that and you might get some dirty boxing in, if you want to be at distance like Price does, just hold on, get the separation.
She won't be afforded.
Whoa!
Oh! Now, the key spinning back fist lands cleanly on Rosado, and that sums up Rosado's evening. Now she's going to get a count as well. That is all she wrote for the Portuguese fighter, unless she can get her own spinning back fist and a knockout on Price. But I'm telling you now, if we do get the Price-Buck final, it will not be as straightforward as this for her. She will not be allowed to just stand there in the middle and back Buck up. That's not going to happen. And it'll be interesting to see how she adapts.
Yeah, for sure. You read my mind there. There we go. That's the end of the round. Smile there from Rosado, but the price is right tonight. And Joe Price should be 3 rounds to the good here. It was a game exchange there, certainly at the end from Rosado, and she took a nosedive, getting cracked. We'll take a look at some of the action here. Look at this. Price just stepping into that beautiful spinning back fist, catching her right over the top of the guard. It's not like her hands weren't there, but caught out of position, not covering high enough with that right arm extended. There's the penalty.
It was the icing on the cake for Price, really, in a dominant position. But as I said, it will be a different matter in that final, because both ladies in that final want centre ring and want to push you back. Something's got to give there.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 hard rounds of action, please, let's hear it for both ladies in this ring. But going through to your tournament final by way of unanimous decision is the blue corner, Joe Price.